Good morning. Good morning, everybody. And welcome to today's conversation, presentation, Creating a Career You Love. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Valerie J. Lyons, and I'll be leading this conversation this morning. Hey there, Adam. And I'm just here to welcome you and to acknowledge you for being present, for being available, and for being open. I'm so excited to be back, and I'm really excited to engage. And what I really want you to do is you can grab a piece of paper and a pen. If you have some water, that would be good, because you may want to take some notes. So this is really going to be a wonderful conversation, and I'm looking forward to everybody's contribution, because I know everyone has something really powerful to say and to share. And this is a great opportunity for us to learn from each other. So welcome again to the WOO community. I'm excited about this opportunity to share with you the power of creating a career you love. Looking forward to it.
How you doing this morning, Valerie? How's everyone doing this morning, WOO Nation?
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
Unmute yourself, love.
Good morning, WOO family, and welcome to our conversation presentation on creating a career you love. My name is Valerie Lyons, and I'm really excited to be here today. I've been blessed to create a career for myself and others, and really am interested and eager to hear from you. So if you have a pen and paper, maybe some water, that would be great. All right, we can go to our next slide.
One second, coming right to you.
Okay. Well, I can share the slide.
No, not necessary. You're good though.
Yeah. So what is the difference between creating something and getting something? What is the difference between creating something and getting something? Is there someone present who wants to give their own perspective on what the difference may be? Creating something and getting something.
So while we wait on the question to marinate in the community, I'm going to ask maybe Brother Kamal to share a little bit about what you think, while folks type maybe in the chat or prepare to share. So Kamal, you have a share for us on this?
Absolutely. I was unclicking the mute as you were logging me in. So yeah, so I see it as something that is emanating from within,
Mm,
as opposed to, and that's the creating something, and then the getting something is something that might be coming from an external piece of it. Someone is providing something for you, or you are looking for something externally. And it's a combination of the working, the creation coming from within. Even within the manifestation, you might envision something of getting something. But the creation part and the creating really comes from your own mind, your own vision, and something that you're innovating and bringing unique to the world. And I'm complete.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was brilliant. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add. Um, I want to say, often when we're thinking about, when we're specifically talking about careers and jobs here, when we think about, looking for work, oftentimes, yes, Kamal, it is external. We're looking on job boards, or we're maybe on LinkedIn, or, we're looking for what's already there. And one of the things that I work with my clients on, and in my own life, it's creating, as Kamal mentioned, it's creating from within. It's tapping into your thoughts, your desires. And again, when it comes to careers, tapping into your gifts and your talents and creating from that space. Because when you're creating, it might not be present. It could be in the world, but it may not be in the world. So this is like the premise of this presentation, and wanting everyone to really tap in, not to what you've done as far as work and tasks, but think about what it is that you want to do, and how your gifts and talents would have you propel into a particular job or career of interest.
Let's hear from at
Yes,
least one other. Go ahead, Kamal, sorry.
yeah, I was gonna engage the community and seek their contribution, see what someone else might be able to add to the conversation. Seeing Sister Z, do you have anything that you wanted to add?
Grand Rising family.
Anybody else
I
in the
literally just
chat?
checked in, so I'm catching up.
Okay, no worries. Good Grand Rising. You can
The
also put
question
this
is
in.
there. Z, whatever is on the screen, you can comment on. I know you just got in, but it's just the question that is displayed here that you can share. Kamal shared his piece, and we're just asking someone from the community to share theirs.
Okay. Okay. So what I caught from Valerie is tapping into what's inside of you, and I would say that is creating from your gifts, from what's inside of you, from what's been gifted to you by the source, versus getting from someone else, from somewhere else, and using. Both are valuable to yourself and to whoever you influence. I guess I'm on my tablet, so little the chat comments are kind of coming up, and I think Adam just said using your voice. I think that's important. Speaking what you want is creating from within. From within.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mama Z.
I'll think a little more on it, but that's what's coming to me right now.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
see
you.
that Adam also mentioned creating is mental getting something as physical
Mm,
and using your voice,
mhm.
right? So, and then I saw, welcome, welcome, Sister uh, Abimbola. I see your hand is raised. And rising.
Yes, peace and blessings. Yeah, so I just wanted to share. I'm retired, but I had experience in creating something, and so I had a very successful baking business. I belonged to an organization, and I realized there was a need for products that was healthy in terms of in the baking aspect. So I started out small and with my friends, baking cakes and uh, developed. Some people would like, oh, I have an allergy to this, or I'm vegetarian, I need non-dairy. So I had to go into the lab and I had to create products that would be appealing to the community. And so then they, my friends shared it with other friends, and next thing you know, people are calling me and asking me uh, to make cakes for them. And then stores heard about me and restaurants heard about my products. And so I created Abimbola's baking business.
Mm,
And I worked, I had a full-time job with the city, but I created a separate business that brought income into my household and allowed me to travel extensively with this extra income. So, you know, that's what came to mind when you said the difference between creating something um, and getting something. I
mm.
created this business from the beginning until I decided to retire 25 plus years later. So thank you. I'm complete. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing something so amazing. And we're going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to come back to what you shared a little later on in the presentation, and that is really tapping into the needs of the community, anticipating what the needs of the community are such that you can find success. So that was really great. Thanks so much for that. We can go to our next slide.
Thank you, family. There you go.
So, question, are you living in your power? And P is being proactive, thinking ahead, taking action, not waiting, anticipating, and which is something that was shared earlier. And Babola just shared that. Prototype. Prototype means trying different things. Sometimes we have it that we should all know our purpose. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves if, for those of us who don't have a sense of it as yet, you know? But prototype means trying different things. And when you try different things, often that has your purpose, passion show up. So I add that, you know, I like to talk about prototype because it takes the pressure off those who may not necessarily be clear on their purpose, passion. Sometimes it just shows up in taking action. Opportunities, always for opportunities, seen, created, and through support. So how vigilant are you in terms of looking at every single experience as an opportunity? The things that go well, the things that don't go well, the interactions you have with people you like, the interactions you have with people you don't like, you know, listening for a need that may not be present, that you see is something that you can take on to make a difference, creating the opportunity. And also through engaging, I'm a big proponent of networking. I'm a self-proclaimed power networker. So I'm down with looking for, always seeking support from others, because support, in creating support and seeking in relationship building as a goal, you learn about opportunities. That's how you learn about opportunities, through interacting with others. And then, are you doing the work? Are you doing the inner and outer work? There's a lot to explore within, self-assessing. There's so much to uncover. We got blind spots, right? So to what extent are we willing to explore the things that work for us, in turn, the things about us that work, and the things about us that we want to improve? Are you willing to do the inner work, right? And then the outer work, when it comes to looking for work, it's, it's the doing the networking. It's making sure you're clear on your expectations and your desires. It's crafting a powerful resume, if that's something that you're working on. It's, asking people for testimonials if you have a business and you've done some great work, and you want to ensure that you have the words of others that you've made a difference for. So to the extent that we're doing the work is really important. And this is all the self-assessment, right? And then E stands for embracing who you are and who you're not. This is acceptance of self, which for many of us is not always easy. I know for myself. I'm not always willing to accept the fact that there's still so much that I need to learn. I'm down to learn it, but sometimes I resist the idea that that's so. Embracing who you are with the gifts and all the talents, and who you're not trying to front. You're trying to live inside your authenticity. I remember back in the day working, as a secretary in the advertising agency, and having to dress a certain way, dressed with the suit and the whole bit, the pearls. Back in the day was the pearls, right? And, that was me assimilating. I'm not trying to go there now. I want to be me. I want to be free. And I want to be accepting of who I am. And then R stands for result, right? You want to put all this work in, and then you want to declare a result. What is it that you want at the end of it all, right? If it's looking for a particular job or a contract, you want to declare that that's so. But guess what? You want to also acknowledge the accomplishments along the way, right? So that if in fact on your way towards getting that job, you did your networking, you crafted your career narrative, which we'll talk about in a minute, you got your resume down pat, you secured the interview, right? And you didn't get the job. Guess what? You accomplished so many steps along the way. You don't want to miss the accomplishment. We want the result, but we don't want to diminish the accomplishments that have occurred along the way. So I wanted to share this with you as an opportunity for you to take a look at, where you are in all of these areas, and to possibly share if there's anything that resonates with you about what I just talked about.
That was very powerful, sister, in terms of being able to establish, a very clear self-inventory as, you are looking to create and manifest, or if you're looking to, like we were saying before, get something, right? I think these are really powerful with respect to doing your own pulse check and being able to really establish just your own identity as you're pursuing purpose and aligning purpose with career. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Kamal.
Anybody else? I'm just going to read a few of the chats. Z said that she's laughing at the pearls.
Relate.
Right. And then Adam said a little earlier with respect to the other topic that we spoke, creating is also writing what you're thinking so you can remember it.
Yes.
So anyone else like to weigh in on what's resonating with you as you're looking at your the power acronym?
I would
See, I
like
see
to,
go ahead, sister.
I have
I'm
a
sorry.
question about just elaborating on the prototype and the power formula. Val, if you could just say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the prototype.
Yeah.
So prototype really has us mix it up and not get too fixed in doing the same things over and over again. So it would have, if say for instance, if you have many of us have many interests, but we don't always explore all of them. And sometimes we get stuck in doing the things that we've been comfortable doing all along, but we're not always willing to branch out and try different things. So prototype is this concept of, I want to just take different actions or try different things that might make a difference. You know, I know, like, for instance, I work, my full-time job is with Hunter, and a lot of folks coming into the mental health counseling program will talk about, you know, try volunteering. They may not have experience in the area of counseling, but we encourage them to volunteer so that they can get experience in the areas of interest. So you might have worked for a very long time in the business field, for instance, but your real passion, purpose is working with others. So you want to try different things. You want to volunteer possibly so that you can get different experiences. I hope that made that clear.
Yes, thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay, and we see my beloved sister Teresa. See your hand is up.
Peace and blessing, sister, Valerie.
Hey,
I just
Teresa.
want to say two things, and family, love y'all. I remember, I've been a person who like to try different things, but I have been, like kind of like put down from trying different things. And so by you saying it kind of, just resonate with me. So I just want to appreciate, for saying it. So it was like what I was doing was good for me, but I allow say, oh, that's too, you should do this, you should do that. But what I, getting back to volunteering is like, I volunteered to be a disability advocate and I end up getting a career in it. And I've been, I still do it even now, as after all these years, but it was like, it started from volunteer. So I do believe that the volunteer is a great thing to get in because I did the volunteer, then I got a job with it. I learned so much and I still know how to advocate for people as a disability advocate right now. So just from volunteering. So I appreciate that and I'm complete.
Thanks, Teresa. I mean, that's the perfect example of how trying different things can lead to something bigger and better. So that's great. Thank you so much, Teresa, for sharing.
So Val, you want to move forward?
Yes, I didn't know if it was somebody else that.
Oh, okay, we can check. Come out. Anything?
Yeah, I don't see anything else in the chat, and no other hands are raised. I have a question that's brewing, but I'm going to wait for a little bit to see if you touch on something.
Okay,
So we can move forward.
Yeah, this is a quote I put together, job joy, which is what I pray for everyone, that you find joy in what you do. Job joy, to know what you do best and to do what you feel best about doing. So a lot of us have experience working a particular job or performing particular tasks. The question is, do you enjoy it? Because I think there's nothing worse, or there's many, doing work that you don't like, it's like suffering. You know what I'm saying? So I put this together to remind us that one, there is a possibility to love what you do, and two, to check in with yourself. Let's not numb out. Let's look at the possibility of creating a job or creating a career that we really, really love. Okay, you can go to the next slide. So this slide speaks to how one might respond to the question, tell me about yourself, right? So these are some questions that I'd like you to consider as you look to build your career narrative, right? So the first question, what are you committed to? What is it that lights you up? What is it that you believe in or feel is your purpose, passion? What are you committed to? Then other questions include, what is your why? What makes you unique? What has you stand out? What problems are you solving? Is there a need that you see in the world that you want to have something to say about it, right? And then you want to give one example that supports your word. Oftentimes people say, I'm an innovator, right? What does that mean exactly? Can you give an example that speaks to how you innovate, right? And then this create yourself, the other, the experience, and the result is really a place to stand. It's a place to, it's a way in which you can create a mindset for yourself, right? And you can create how this experience is gonna play out. So in creating yourself, the other, the experience, you create yourself. I create myself. Prior to this presentation, I created myself as energetic, creative, and engaging. I create the participants as interested, inspired, and informative or informed. And the result is that at least one person walks away saying, you know what, I'm glad I got up at 7. I'm glad I got up at 7 for this presentation because I walked away with something, right? So that's what I do to set the stage for any interaction that I have. So what I'd like for us to do, I think what I'd like for us to do is to go into breakout rooms, right? We're going to have these questions posted. And for each person to take a turn rather, responding to the question, what are you committed to? You might also respond to, what is your why? What lights you up? What is it that makes you unique? How do you stand out from everybody else? What problems are you solving? So you're going to take in these questions and think about maybe one or two that you can respond to. And then you want to give one example that supports your word. If you're saying, I'm creative, I'm a creative person, give an example of how that shows up in the world, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take about, what would you say, maybe
6.
6 minutes. We'll take 6 minutes and each person have an opportunity to share, and then we'll come back and then we can hear from some folks to talk about what this experience was for you.
All right, and I'm just going to ask one more time for the instruction in the breakout room so that folks are clear about what they're talking about when they're in there.
Okay.
There'll be 3 people in each room. And if there's somebody in your room who's not responsive, just carry on, because that happens sometimes in the breakout rooms. So if you could just repeat before I send, that would be great.
Sure. Okay. So, okay. So there are several questions and you can choose to respond to one. What are you committed to? Might be a question that resonates with you. What is your why? What makes you unique? What problems are you solving? So you're going to respond to at least one of those questions. I would say respond to one of those questions, right? To give time for everybody else. And then if you're speaking about something that makes you unique, like I'm creative, give one example that supports the fact that you're creative. And then each person will have a chance to share from those questions. If there's time, you can give each other feedback. There may not be time. We can come back into the larger room and share and give feedback at that time. But I want everyone to experience talking about themselves.
Righty. Here we go, family. Just look for the prompt. And if you're new in this space, you can just ask the other co-creators in the breakout room to support you and share what you're doing. Here we go. All righty, so Facebook is just encouraging you to type your responses in the chat, in the Facebook chat, so that we can experience your energy and your feedback and your shares as well. Good morning, good morning. Zahura. How are you?
Yeah.
Zahura?
Yeah.
Yeah, folks are in the breakout room, so I'm going to place you so that you can participate with the conversation. So let's see. They'll bring you up to speed. Morning. So I'm going to place you in the breakout room, Aaliyah. They'll bring you up to speed.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem, beloved. Good to see you.
Same here. Same here, Shawnee.
Let's see who I'm going to place you with. So just brought you back into the space so that you can engage the Facebookers and have them have an experience as well. I'm sure that the folks in the breakout rooms will figure out what they need to say, probably already are engaged.
Sure.
So me and Kamal can answer questions about the prompt so the Facebook folks can hear and share on the thread. So Kamal, did you share in your breakout? Anything
I
you want to?
did. I was with Valerie, so I shared.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did y'all leave some people alone in the space?
It
Or
was
y'all-
Gina.
Oh, Gina, okay. Okay, that's great. All right, so we'd love to hear what you shared so folks on Facebook can hear and experience.
Yes.
Sure. So I spoke about what I was committed to, and I was sharing with Valerie that I'm committed to optimal health of people spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And being able to, and then Valerie asked me, well, how does that show up in my day-to-day? How does that show up in terms of a career? And I spoke about my specialization in rites of passage and helping to facilitate initiations and trainings so that people can identify what their contribution to someone's becoming narrative would be. So I'm usually in the space of supporting educators, healers, transformational coaches in support of them being able to learn the tools of this indigenous modality in order for them to be able to execute their purpose within that and then help to create the call and the process for someone else's life purpose. So that's what I'm committed to. And in some of those conventional environments, it was valued, but it wasn't necessarily the focal point of some of the other careers that I've been and operating under the umbrella as an educator or a director of college-bound programs. So there was some value to it, but it wasn't the main emphasis and the focus. So I got tired of eating without swallowing and began to, create the career path.
Oh, sorry. But yes.
Are we finished? Was that 6 minutes?
Are we?
Wow, I didn't even see a I'm like sitting and listening and okay.
I apologize. I pressed the wrong button and I bounce back to this room. I'm supposed to be in room 1.
We're all back in the main space. 6 minutes is up. And so Val,
Okay.
it's not you, Boo. We brought you back. So
Okay.
Valerie, if you could unmute and then we can carry on.
Thanks. I wanted to really speak to something that Kamal just shared in terms of being in an environment where you bring in your authentic self, but it's not necessarily acknowledged or valued, which is why when it comes to work, we want to do our best to ensure that our personal values align with the work values. Because when they don't, there's a tension that exists and it shows up in us really not being satisfied or feeling fulfilled. So I really wanted to touch on that last part of what you shared, Kamal, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you for the opportunity. This is great. This is great.
Yes, so we have shares from the folks that were in the breakout room. Please raise your digital hand if you want to share what you shared with the collective, the small collective that you were in. And if you didn't get a chance to share in the space, this is also an opportunity to be able to express yourself if you held space for others to share. So who wants to share, please raise your digital hand. A free add-on. Okay, we have somebody. Kaisha, go ahead, love.
Yeah, I see Kaisha. Welcome, Kaisha.
Thank you. Good morning. So I was in a room with myself, Andrea, but she was on the go, so she might not still be in this space, and Zahara, but I don't think she was near her device. So Andrea is a nurse by trade, but she's also a community. I don't want to say leader. She's like a community supporter. She's a community supporter, and so the need in her community are gardens. She lives in Far Rockaway, and she was told that they are in a food desert. So she would like to support the community by creating multiple gardens and getting into gardening for her community. So for me, I share that I'm a supply chain manager by trade. Like I work in the aviation supply chain industry. However, I would like to create, and I'm afraid of saying this because that means I might have to do it. I would like to create a way for single parents or dual income parents to be able to transport their kids to the activities that they other can't get their kids to because we are working. And so I just recognized that that was a need for me this summer. And I think there was another parent that posted on Facebook if she could get someone to take her son somewhere. So there, you know, within my community only, I believe that there is a need for transportation for our kids. And I looked into something called Uber for Kids, but there is no such thing. But in certain communities like California and other states, there are apps. There are apps where you can solicit drivers within your radius, within your community, you know, to get your kids to other places. So in other towns, there's a need, and someone took initiative. And so, like I said, now that I'm verbalizing this, I might have to put this into fruition. And you know, but I'm always afraid of, will people trust me? But as you were speaking, Valerie, I was thinking, I work for the federal government, so I have a federal level background check. And if I have to, I'll pay for my own background check and offer that to my community members just to get them warmed up to the idea that this can happen.
Kaisha,
Yes.
they're warmed up. And it's done because you said it.
Right, that's what I said.
It's done. So what I want to encourage you around is this. First of all, you identified a powerful need. And you have it that it's welcomed.
Yeah.
I encourage you to release the fear and
Right.
right? Because what that will, having that fear and doubt is going to block that desire. So I'm just standing inside of your commitment to be a contribution to your community. And I'm believing you have everything it takes to get it done. And I can't wait to hear about it.
All right, well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the encouragement. I know I talk a lot, and I did accomplish some things in Woo that I said I would. And so this is just something else that, like you said, it is a fear. It's just the fear of not being trusted.
Yeah, give that up. You know what? Because you're a trustworthy person. You're a trustworthy person.
Yes.
So that's all in your head. It's not
Yeah.
in the world. You're good.
Yes, but thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Sister Kaisha, you've been getting a lot of accolades and affirmations as well in the chat. So, you know, embrace that as you you know, concocting the courage to take the initial step. And Valerie, I think it might be worthy of being able to, you know, maybe, and I know this is not necessarily primarily, but I think when we're talking about purpose and we're talking about manifesting and creating our own vision, mission, and designing that, that fear is one of the main obstacles. If there's anything that you might be able to share as a method that you have used in being able to cross those barriers, right? I think that might be good to be able to offer.
Yeah, fear is natural, you know, and I think just not accepting that it's natural, but doesn't mean you can't do it. Accepting that it's natural, but it doesn't have to be a barrier, because we do a lot of things that we're afraid of, you know, so it doesn't have to stop you, right? We can acknowledge, I'm afraid. For me, it really helps me to share. This is why it's important for me to be in environments like this, environments of empowerment with people that love and care for you, because that's how I source my courage as well. I source my courage from others that may see things in me that I don't see in myself. I'm like, if they see it, something's there. And in my soul, I know it's present too, by the way. I'm not fronting. I know my gifts and talents. And because I get sometimes fearful, I feed into the fear, but I also acknowledge it and give it up talk to other people who know me, love me, support me, and get me, and I'm able to move forward, even if I'm fearful. And the more you move forward, you build up that traction. You see that you are your word, you get strengthened by the action, and you keep it moving.
Same. Thank you for that. Thank
Sure.
you. I saw a hand, Sister Aaliyah.
Hi, yes. I was just thank you, and I apologize for coming in this space late, but I'm so glad that I'm here. I want to ask this question, and is it white supremacy? Is it the school system? What is it? What is the difference between us or those? I mean, maybe I shouldn't even put everybody in the same box. Those who just go out and do it and start their business, and just they might just have like a pot, may not even have like a pot to piss in, but they come, especially for like, some immigrants that come to this country, they come, they start their business, and they just go. And they create like this whole generational mindset of like entrepreneurship. And then many of us who were blessed enough, I guess, to be born here in this country and receive the education and have somewhat of a springboard, but then we have so much power, but we just don't proceed. I don't know if is it fear? What is it? Like,
Well,
what is it? What is the difference?
you mentioned white supremacy, and this is not that training, but Lord have mercy. What we believe about ourselves and the messages that we get about not being good enough, being inferior, and what we say about each other, that's a whole conversation. There's a lot to unpack. I think for us, it is a matter of our willingness to unpack some of what we may have been trained or taught or socialized, some of the lessons that we missed about our greatness and our power. That's why it's important for us to seek communities like this and others that remind us of our greatness, that remind us that we have the ability. And there are many of us who are doing great things, and we need to connect with those individuals. So sometimes it's about us looking at our circle, loving folk, but looking for people that are really going to empower us and see us for who we truly are. But certainly the white supremacy is real, and it has an impact on our thinking and our way of being. And that's once we have that consciousness that is there, because there was a time when many of us didn't even know it was present. Once we have that consciousness, we can dismantle that crap. We can work towards dismantling it. So I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you for that question. Teresa.
I just want to share what that young lady was saying is that, what Valerie was saying is that I have been taught, I was taught certain things about myself that didn't have anything to do with me. And once I realized, that I had a different mission based on what I was taught, it changed my whole way of thinking. And then when I got into different healing tribes, that definitely changed my whole way of thinking. And I tell anyone, get you a tribe.
Get you a tribe.
Show up on Woo every day. Show up on Woo. That's a tribe. This right here is a tribe right here. If you want a tribe, Woo is the tribe. If you're new here, if you haven't been coming, come back to Woo. I have slacked up, and since I came back and been kicking in and being here, I see the change. So this is the tribe right here, y'all. You got one right here. You ain't got to go no place else. And I'm just I'm
gonna drop the mic on that. Shoot. All right. I don't know if there's any other comments. We can move on if not.
Yeah, we are ready to move on.
Okie dokie. So when you are interacting with others, engaging with others, creating your career, networking, it's important to know the power of your personal value, which is the X factor. Like when we meet people, like they have the X factor. That's a little something that you don't always see that you don't see in everybody. The X factor, right? So what makes up this understanding of your personal value, or the X factor? Your likability, which is different than people pleasing, might I add. Your likability has to do with the extent to which people want to be with you. There's something about you that's engaging, that's intriguing, right? You're listening, you're giving, you're a generous contribution, likability. And as I go through this, I want you to think about yourself and to see where you are around these different qualities. Are these qualities that you possess? Are these qualities that you want to expand? All right. Turning your trials and tribulations into triumphs. That is a real gift. You know, I was married for close to 23 years. Towards the end of the marriage, it did not work. But I refused to look at that entire marriage as not being successful, even though we ended up separating. And ultimately, my husband passed, but it was in the process of divorce. There were I learned so much about myself, dealing with challenging situations, alcoholism, how I worked through that, turning your trials and tribulations into triumphs. Giving extraordinary customer service, which we're going to talk in a minute. Extraordinary customer service is such an important skill, no matter what you do. How you relate to people, how you listen for what people need, how you give people more than what they ask for. You're just available and accessible, right? That's what I get from Wu, by the way, and as being a facilitator, extraordinary customer service, right? Do you see yourself as someone that uplifts yourself and others? Are you someone that uplifts yourself? You feel, even if you're going through something, you find that sense of joy and peace. You find out how to get it. Like, I'm going to walk to Central Park later, which gives me a lot of joy and peace. And do you uplift others? Do you encourage others? Do you empower others? Do you have people feel better about themselves after they interact with you, right? Creating an environment of trust. Is that what you do? Creating an environment where people feel you. They trust you. I said to Kaisha, you're trustworthy. I said that because that's what I get from her. That's this energy that I get from her, that she's someone that can be trusted, follows up on what she said she's going to do. Trustworthy, right? Do you create that environment? Anticipating the needs of others, which takes listening and getting out of the way. It's not about what I need, it's what they need, because I'm listening to them and I'm anticipating what their needs are based on what they're sharing. And then being a yes, this is really important. Being a yes doesn't mean you say yes to everything. It just means that you're willing to want to, right? So you could be a yes. I'm a person, you're ready, you're willing, you're open, because our initial reaction is to resist. When we're asked to do something, particularly something that might be a stretch, our initial reaction or response is to resist. You give up the resistance because you know it's natural, and you think about, is this something I want to say yes to? I'm willing. And then you think about it, and maybe you say yes, and maybe you don't. So just listening to the description of these different qualities and attributes, right? What do you think about them? Are there particular attributes that really speak to who you are? Are there particular attributes that you say to yourself, you know what, I really want to enhance, I want to expand that way of anticipating other people's needs. I want to really listen. I want to enhance improve my listening skills so I can really meet people's needs and exceed them possibly. So I don't know if anyone has any comments about that.
Before you go there, Val, just want to acknowledge that it's 7:58. And, some folks, not all, may have to transition off. So we just want to acknowledge you if you do. And then also, of course, the majority of the folks who stay, we're going to carry on and answer the question that Val just asked. So if you can just share a message to send off folks who might have to sign off because it's close to the 8 o'clock hour, that would be great. And then we'll carry on and we'll add your contact information to the thread.
Sure. My message is that I hope that whatever you've listened to or learned thus far is something you can take away and use in your life, and know that we're all a work in progress. No one has it figured out, right? So be kind to yourself and be generous. Take risks, try different things to see what resonates with you. And you never know what blessing can show up. And I hope that you return, and my contact is available if you ever want to reach out. I'm very happy to connect with anyone.
Awesome. So I know you had the question, you wanted, just if you can just repeat what you're asking folks to share from the slides and the things that you shared earlier.
Sure. I just was asking if there was anything about any of these qualities or attributes that you identify with, or if there's any area or attribute or quality that you want to enhance or you want to improve. That was just a question to the community, if anyone had anything to share.
Sure. Start us off, Val, and then others can chime in. Yeah, personal value X factor. So I won't comment on all of them, but what stands out for me is me being able to anticipate the needs of others. My purpose on the planet is to utilize the word to ignite mind, body, and spirit transformation, and wanting to do that on a global level. So words are my thing. So uplifting people, providing value through conversation, coaching, training, performance, and then also priding myself on extraordinary customer service, even if it means something has gone wrong. For me, extraordinary customer service is acknowledgement, and if possible, cleaning that up and restoring. So I'll just focus on those things as some of my X factor ingredients that have taken me far and wide as a leader in community. And just and the capacity to say yes. And the biggest yes exchange that I have is with spirit, like just letting things download and drop in, and then me saying yes and then following through. So I wanted to share that, and I'm curious about who else in the community has things to share with Val around these X factor properties. Anyone else?
Chime in as the community is continuing to marinate. I'll just jump on the uplift yourself and others. Ritual is something that I bring into every space, and it has an opportunity for us to revisit and make intentions and declarations about who we're going to be real time in the moments of our present now and our future nows, right? So being able to really show up and allow ourselves to have a clear intention as individuals, as a collective, and be able to affirm the greatest possibility. So many of the spaces that I'm influencing, that's a part of the work that I bring to it, is the ritual in it, and how it can be uplifting to you and those who are in your circles of love, influence, and obligation.
Thank you. Sean, I just have to respond to something you said about saying yes to spirit, because this thing about discerning what I should say yes to is really, I'm being led more by spirit and not by mind, and making that distinction is really, has been transformational. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. It gives me my life for sure.
Ooh, it's not easy.
No, not easy. Yes. Angela, did you want to say something? I saw your hand earlier.
Yes, peace and great rising family. So I would anticipating the needs of others. That is a skill that I'm strengthening, particularly because my brand declaration is to facilitate a prosperous and harmonious world for melanated beings. And when I with how that resonates with me and anticipating the needs of others, I'm really keen on how, like, the future of our existence as a collective melanated community, and how we're living, how we are, growing prosperously and receiving abundance, and, living in harmony with ourselves and with our tribe. And so looking at now where we are as a collective people and how the world is shifting and evolving, I'm looking at, okay, what are the things that I could create, or the pathways that I can support facilitating, so that our tribe can grow prosperously and in harmony, and anticipating those needs that our people will need to live in this space and in this way, and what needs to be created in order for that to manifest.
Mhm.
So I am complete, but this is very, very powerful, sister. So I thank you.
You're welcome. And your commitment to the world is powerful. God bless you. God bless you. All
We
right.
have a share from Facebook.
Yes.
Jem McBean L shares, if I can toot my own horns,
Yes,
I
you can.
think I'm Jem McBean L. She says, if I can toot my own horns, I think I'm likable and I'm a giving person. My circle is very small because I don't put myself out there. I do like to think before saying yes.
Very good. Sounds like you're taken care of, which is great. Thank you for that. All right. Any other shares before we move on?
There's nothing else in the chat. Does anyone else want to unmute and share their relationship with some of these core components?
Hi, this is Teresa.
I have a share. Good morning, everyone. I was trying to type it in the chat. Just couldn't do it fast enough. So mine would be creating an environment of trust. Just pretty much, within my industry of financial services and insurance, financial literacy as well. I just find that, with people with like the lack of knowledge on how money works and pretty much setting up your future financially and how that could just be utilized for their future, I just see myself having to, like, I guess, deeply trying to, I feel like I shouldn't have to convince people to set up their future, financially, but I see that I have to, like, really just go into deep explanation just to help people understand what they need to do for themselves and their families financially. So just, I guess, creating that environment of trust, maybe trying like a different approach that where they could understand, and then they could be able to do what they need to do. And I'm complete.
Yes.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Thank you for that. I'm glad that you're making the distinction between convincing and really providing people with the information and the opportunity that will show up when they manage their finances powerfully. So thank you for that.
I heard Teresa's voice.
Yes,
Teresa.
hi. Yesterday I turned 64, and the day before I was very sad because I was saying that I hadn't accomplished anything what I thought I didn't accomplish, and so I was thinking about that, and then I was like, girl, what are you talking about? It's like you was told that they thought you had stage 4 cancer, and you are still here. So it's like I'm creating a book called "Be Good to Me," and um I'm crying because it's like sometimes when I'm tearing down myself, the spirit will just show me, hey, like cut it out, and I just want to encourage people to be good to themselves. And so in creating that, I'm going to create a podcast and a book about being good to me, because people, we are not always good to ourselves. And I'm just overwhelmed because all this powerful information is just hitting me. And when I first tried to get on, I couldn't even speak because it's like the spirit was just speaking to me, and I was just overwhelmed by the goodness of what's happening here. And so I just want to encourage anyone is that it doesn't matter what people say about you or what you even think about yourself, that be good to yourself. And so I'm going to write, I'm going to do the podcast. I'm going to write an ebook about being good to me and the different things that I've gone through and how yet all the stuff that I have been through, I'm still here being good to myself. And so I just want to encourage anyone, with those words to be good to you. And I'm complete.
Thank you so much, dear Teresa, and happy, happy, happy birthday. Look forward to checking out your book and your podcast. Congratulations. All right, I guess we can move to our next slide. So we talked a lot about, extraordinary customer service. So many of us have heard about the golden rule. You could put in the chat, what is the golden rule, right? Treating others like we would like to be treated. The platinum rule. I don't know if anybody knows about the platinum rule. The platinum rule is, so the golden rule is, anyone want to share what the golden rule is? Do unto others as you. Right?
Do unto others as you would like them to do to you.
Yes, right. So treating other people the way you want to be treated, really. And the platinum rule, anyone want to take a stab at that, what the platinum rule is?
Where is this derived from? I'm sorry, I missed that bus. I mean, I heard it just as,
Yeah, well, so the golden rule was
good. Is this like a book?
right. So I will share later where the platinum and double platinum rule was. The golden rule was really derived from the Bible.
Okay, amen. Mm-hmm.
But I will get to you where I got the platinum and double platinum. I don't have that resource handy, but I'll get it to you. But I want to really focus on the concept too, right? But I will get that to you. So the platinum rule is doing unto others or treating people how they want to be treated. Platinum rule. The double platinum rule is treating people how they don't even know they wanted to be treated. And that's the extraordinary customer service that we've been talking about, anticipating people's needs, thinking about what people need, and then thinking about what they might not even know they need. We want to give them the extra something, right? So that is just the concept to take on in terms of extraordinary customer service. That's why I wanted to introduce this. And I will get you the source to the platinum and double platinum.
Valerie, could you give an example of the second part of the platinum rule in your experience?
Yes. So, so in my full-time job, I work as an advisor working with graduate students. So oftentimes students will say, they want to take a leave of absence, right? But what they don't know is that they need to re-enroll in the program because once you leave the program, you're unenrolled. So they don't know they need to be enrolled. They don't know that they need to check to make sure that their courses are still active, because if they've had 5 years to complete the program, so that if they've been in the program more than 5 years, and if that leave of absence extends that 5-year period, they have to also make sure that they complete a form to extend their courses. So a lot of times people will ask you for something. I'm not coaching business people. I'm working with women. They may want to expand who they are in their career, and they think that it may only they want to focus on their technical skills, but a lot of times it's their interpersonal skills. They don't know that they might need to enhance the way in which they interact with others, their interpersonal skills. Some of us think that work is all about the task, and it's a lot of it is about the relationships. So that's what I mean about listening for what people need and then giving them something extra.
Great, thank you for that.
Sure.
Right, any other questions or comments from anyone before we move forward? Right, just reading a couple of the chats. Let's see. It says that Jim Bean is familiar with the golden rule. Okay. And we have Jim McBean L also said that, I'm sorry, this is moving a little jumpy right now. Platinum rule is treating people how they want to be treated. Right, so she was just confirming on that. That was pretty much it from the chat. So if we wanted to move forward, we're
Sure,
able to move forward.
we can move forward.
Oh, I had an example. I'm sorry.
Okay, you can go ahead.
I'm always chiming in the last minute. Okay.
Say that again. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. No, I said I had an example as well. I'm sitting here dealing with these two boys. Oh, I'll try to get to my mute button. But if you guys need to move forward, it's okay.
Okay, if you want to come back and weigh in when you're ready.
Okay.
Right, Valerie, you can.
Okay,
can
so
move
we,
forward.
okay, great. So we can
Do you want the next slide?
yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
That was me expecting you to mind read, by the way. It didn't work.
Sometimes I do. And don't. This morning, this is an all right.
Anticipating what somebody needs. Anticipating what somebody needs.
Not right now.
All right, yeah. Okay, so we talked about the power of knowing your personal value. This is the power of knowing the market value, right? So this is the market value, whatever industry that you're interested in exploring, you want to know the industry standards, what are the qualifications of the particular credentials. Important to know the work culture. Is this an environment where you got to be on call 24/7? For some of us, that's not what we want. Is this an environment where there's a little bit more flexibility in your schedule? So knowing the environment and knowing the culture, knowing the qualifications, right? So again, I'm going to go through this and think about this for those who are exploring options. This is something to take into consideration. You want to set a salary, and this goes for anyone seeking an opportunity. You want to know your value meaning monetarily. What is it that you are charging for your services? And that's an issue that many of us struggle with. Knowing the salary, knowing your hourly rate or package rate, right? So setting a salary range and asking for more, right? Because a lot of times we minimize, we downplay. We don't ask for what we really want, right? We're afraid. We talked about fear. So this is something for us to really work through, those of us who have difficulty with monetization, right? Don't be afraid to make a counter. Someone makes you an offer, it doesn't really meet your needs, make a counter. What the heck? See if you can negotiate. And some of us, I know for myself, that is an area that I'm working on, negotiation, working on my negotiation skills. When it comes to work and more in a, not necessarily traditional, I'll just speak to traditional work, the 9 to 5, so to speak. It's not all about the money. The money is important, right? But you want to know, what is the work culture? What are how does the team interact? Who's my manager? What is their management style? What are their expectations, right? What about the benefits, right? Because sometimes that supersede that's of key importance to many of us, and we want to make sure that it's a great benefit package. So it's about the salary, and it's about so many other things, right, that we want to take in consideration. Because you could be getting paid, but if your environment is disempowering, you can't put a price tag on your peace of mind. So, that's something to really consider, right? You want to be clear on your expectations. Some of us are really still trying to figure out what we want. That's something you really want to get clear on, so that when you have interactions with people, you're clear on what you want, and you're not going to just take anything. You're not going to be led by the external. You're going to be led by the internal, because you're clear on your expectations, right? You want to be able to show what you can do, demonstrate what you can do. I know when I look for different opportunities, I have a portfolio. I've been known to throw in some of my poems if it's something I think I can use my creativity. I think about if it's a particular organization, they're asking me for a particular service. I look at their website, I see what they do, I see what's missing, I see if that's something I can create, and I talk about that, right? So I want to demonstrate what I can do, right? And then understanding the benefits factor, understanding that benefits, there's a cost to benefits. And sometimes those, say a benefit package in and of itself might be close to $10,000. You add that to the salary, right? Because that is a factor in your making decision, and if there's a cost associated to it. So I wanted to just go through some of this to provide you with, again, a sort of framework for understanding how to approach a career or an opportunity. I don't know if anyone has anyone to share about that with that.
Well,
Valerie. Go ahead.
yeah, I wanted to share about number 2, because I coach a lot of people, not just around salaries for work, because I attract a lot of entrepreneurs, but negotiating what they charge for their offerings, program services, curriculums, like whatever it is. And this is a struggle for folks, being fearful about negotiation and factoring in. This is something that I used to do years ago, and I always get this wrong. I would not factor in the time it took for me. And, I'm speaking from an entrepreneurial standpoint. So factoring in my meetings with them, like, preparation, debriefing on the tail end of a project, the in between time where we would have to, process information or meet to strategize. I wouldn't factor in time that it would take for me to edit, work on, design the curriculum. I would always focus on the facilitation. Just a lot of factors that people are afraid to think about and then put in and then negotiate dollars and cents. And it's problematic. And this whole concept of hours for dollars, I've also released that. But I coach a lot of folks who get stuck in this space and end up nickeling and diming themselves around their worth. So I just wanted to add that in the space.
Yes, thank you. Fear. We don't believe that people, first of all, what you mentioned, Shawnee, about factoring all those other aspects of the job that we don't necessarily take in consideration is really important. A lot of fear that people are not going to pay for what we want, and we allow ourselves to be nickel and dimed. Been there, done that, right? But when you really get that people are going to pay for what they want, you let go of that. People will pay for what they want. People are paying big dollars for services. People are paying big dollars for clothes, shoes, a bag. If people want something and you have something of value, people are going to purchase it, and they will not blink twice. When you say your rate, the people that want it are not going to blink twice. Trust, that shows up. So thank you, Shawnee, for sharing. Anything else from the community before we move on?
We do have from Facebook a share from Wendy Pierre, who also says, yes, this pricing thing is my issue. So as you talked about the fear.
Yes. Wendy, people will pay for what they want. Just remember that.
Yeah, I know I don't want to prolong. I'm surprised that more folks don't have stuff to say about this salary negotiation or negotiating contracts and things like this, because this is big. And we're mostly Black and brown in the Wake Up Everybody community. And this piece about value and worth and currency, which I teach. And, I've been working with the facilitators on this and the leaders in Be the Tree about different types of currency exchange, because it's not just about money. So sometimes if I am negotiating, and sometimes a budget, they only have what they have, but there are other ways based on your value and the market value and your worth to negotiate and get other things that you need. They may not be able to give you dollars and cents, but maybe they can connect you to 3 more clients that are in the industry that they work with, and they're like, I'm going to recommend you. There's so many different ways to manifest value and manifest worth. And if we're innovative and think outside of the box, it's great. But also, I'm a clinician healer, so I also will share that if you are struggling, perhaps it's the negotiation of your emotional, psychological, and spiritual before what your mouth says, like going internally and really addressing what might be getting in the way. Because, as I was growing up, I was taught by 2 different mindsets. One was spend everything you have. My grandmother would gamble and do different things with money. And my grandfather was miserly and tight with money. And it was very, very confusing. So doing that necessary work about mindset and your emotional relationship with worth and value. So I just wanted to add those pieces before we move on.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That gold, which really speaks to what we were addressing earlier, the inner work, the uncovering, such that we can really just show up powerfully and not have any resistance, or have resistance, check it and move on. So thank you for that, Shawnee. The messages. Okay, we can move on.
Sister Valerie, if I may, I just wanted to add a voice around that as well, in terms of attachment to certain narratives that might, block you from being able to align with your highest value. And, so I worked what I would consider to be behind enemy lines, and then you wind up being able to reposition yourself. And so sometimes the limitations of what I saw when I was behind enemy lines and the value and the real, especially if we're dealing with our community, the real liberation factor comes from the modalities and the methods that we use, especially if we're aligning ourselves with our own community. And, the whole idea is about maintaining the status quo, is to ensure that these systems are maintained. And when you bring a liberation tool to the party, then it often can sometimes, and this could be my own narrative, but it could also, be a situation that's a barrier for you to be able to come in to the industry and offer something. Even with all of the euphemistic words that speak to the liberation around equity and all of those, when you're really talking about not, changing the narrative, transforming the affirmative development, and really coming up with something that is not only going to liberate you from your narrative, but also liberate you from your attachments, like what we're talking about, those are game changers. So I wanted you to maybe speak to in terms of your relationship with who you choose to partner with, and how do you navigate the narrative of being able to offer what it is that you're offering, and at the same time, seeing that how that relationship develops in terms of the tension that it might create.
When you're speaking about what it is that you're committed to in the world, and the perspectives that you have on individuals and systems, all I hear is seeking. And that's what this is, for me, that's what life is about. It's not about conforming. Conforming is when we get trapped, right? It's about seeking people, seeking environments that are aligned with who we really are. That's when we can do the work. Now, we can sometimes do the work in systems that are not aligned, but it's tedious and tiring. And you have to ask yourself, how long am I willing? Because I do believe we make a difference in those systems, but it is seeking. To me, that's I'm not trying to fight a struggle. I'll fight, but I'm not trying to suffer. So I don't know if that responds, but I'm come on.
Oh, it definitely responds. And, it is about using your energy wisely.
Yes.
Especially after you've gone through and you have some clarity and a frame of reference in terms of what an institution or organization's capacity is to do a certain
You
work.
got, you
And
got,
the work that we do, it pushes the envelope because it's especially when we're dealing with our own indigenous gifts and intelligences that need to be factored into organizations and institutions. Yeah, but thank you so much.
sure. Yeah. So I know there's a hand, and I want to continue. I want to go through because we have a couple more slides. Although maybe some people can stay beyond 8:30. I just want to be respectful of time. And we talked about declaring and creating and really the power of your word. And this is a declaration that I created. You can use, you can adapt it, you can, modify in any way you see fit. But it's the power of making a declaration is this slide. And this is something that I declared as I was moving forward in my career. And I found it. I'll tell you that. I work in an environment, not I want to work. I work in an environment where I am supported and valued. My skills and my contribution are acknowledged and welcome. There are opportunities to advance within the company, and everyone is encouraged to seek professional development. These are values that I hold dear. My colleagues and I work as a cohesive team, and we take care of each other. My manager leads with care, compassion, and competence. The environment is pulling for my success and highly values self-care. I'm getting paid 6 figures. I'm getting paid 100,000 plus. Whatever salary you are calling forth is what you want to put up in there. This is the power of making a declaration. I do it all the time. We've been talking about that, the power of your word. So I just wanted to offer this and hope that it makes a difference for somebody. Again, I encourage you to make these declarations. Kaisha shared a desire that she has, a commitment she has. Kaisha, make your declaration and make it powerful. It is powerful. You might want to expand on it. That you're working with people who have a trusting nature and are loving and kind. However you want to say, be as descriptive as possible. Okay. Any comments before we move on? Are we going to move on? Okay.
Yes, we have a question from Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have a comment and then I'll share the question. A comment from Wendy Pierre. I had to stop assessing my client's ability to pay based on my own struggles with feelings of financial lack. Okay. And Jem McBean L has a question and a comment. She says, love the power of making a declaration. Is it meant to be repeated as a mantra and or written?
Whatever works for you. I say the more we can memorialize our declaration, for me, it enhances our belief in the declaration. So if we write it down, I have declarations posted in my apartment, right? Because it reminds me when I have doubt or fear, I look at the post and I'm like, no, this is what's up, right? So writing really makes a difference. I think there's something about even the gesture of pen to a pad. It just sort of at the stamp, it memorializes it. And I'm a big proponent of sharing. So verbalizing it makes a difference because it puts it in the world, in the universe. Universe knows what we want, by the way. Declaring it makes the difference as well, amplifies it, right? So yes, I believe in sharing and I believe in documenting. Some people will journal about it. Anything else?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Sister, just in terms of a time check, just 8:34. How much time do you think that
I'm gonna say 5 minutes.
5 more minutes? Okay,
People
we're
can-
with you. We're
Okay,
with you.
great. Wonderful. Because we like 2 slides. So next slide. Yes. So what is your superpower? Inside of this whole presentation is the opportunity for us to tap into our superpower, our gifts, our talents, the things that have us stand out from everybody else, right? By the way, someone else could have the same superpower, but guess what? It's not the same because they're not you. You are what makes your superpower unique because you're adding that X factor flavor going on, right? So don't think that more than one person can have the same superpower, but it will never be the same because each of us is unique in our own way. So in the chat, I'd like for everyone to just put in the chat, what is that gift, that talent, that attribute, that quality that has you stand out from everybody else, right? And it's important for us to be present to that because again, that's what helps us to tap into the career, the opportunity, the gig, the contract that we're seeking. Being clear on our value. The superpower is the source for our value, by the way, right? That has us give up the fear of negotiating, right? Because I know I'm somebody that brings joy to any environment that I interact with. You can't put a dollar sign on joy. You can't, but I know that's who I am. So that frees me up. That was money. That frees me up around asking for the compensation because I know you can't put a price tag on joy. So if people are people sharing their superpower?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So we have Shawnee says spontaneity. Dr. Maury said inspiring. Sister Teresa said truth teller. And it's Teresa Scott says being lifter of people. Mama Zakia says unconditional love. And Jem McBean L says I'm a nurturer. Nui says my ability to take lots of info and deliver it into a streamlined solution.
Ooh-wee.
Angela says visioning and seeing the future.
Oh, good.
We have some powerhouses here.
Can you put a dollar sign on that? No, you cannot. You cannot. That's what I'm talking about. That's so powerful. No dollar sign. So whatever you ask is good. Whatever you ask for is good. All right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. Any other comments? Anything from Facebook? All right. This is our last slide. These are 3 factors that can influence our happiness. Our ability to reframe our situation more positively. So no matter what goes down, right, we're able to still take a look at what did I gain from that? What made a difference to me? How did I transform inside of that difficult or challenging situation? How did I transform, right? Our ability to experience gratitude. Can I be grateful even if, again, things didn't work out the way I wanted to? Can I be grateful for having that experience that had me know that I need to move in this direction, not that direction, right? And then our choice to be kind and generous, no matter what. It's our choice, right? Someone, situations may go down a particular way, right? Maybe hurt, maybe painful. Could you imagine losing a job, for instance? One of the most difficult things that can happen, or I know in my case, some years ago, didn't get a promotion that I thought I was deserving of, right? How can I still be kind and generous to the people that I report to, even though I didn't get what I wanted, right? But that's my power. I'm gonna still maintain my level of integrity, right? And in that situation where I didn't get the promotion, or actually it was an evaluation that wasn't positive. It was a bad evaluation. I was ready to quit. And I had to sort myself out. Thank God I had a conversation with some family members. I sorted myself out, went back to work, did my job, professional con. People were shocked, by the way, because they expected me not to be that. And then ultimately I got a promotion. So standing inside who you really are makes a difference. X factor stuff, right? So in wrapping up, I hope that folks walked away with something that they can take and use in their life. And I appreciate all of the contributions that people offered, because it made a difference for me. I hope it made a difference for everyone else. And it's an ongoing process. We're constantly learning and growing. And I think one of the qualities of, in terms of X factor, is, being a life learner, being willing to learn. It never stops. So thank you all again for this time with you, and for sharing. I don't know whether before we close, I don't know if anyone has anything to add before we close, but I just wanted to wrap up by saying, I appreciate you, and I appreciate this time that we had together.
That was wonderful, Sister Valerie. Thank you for providing us with such profound pillars that allow us to be able to tap into some infinite possibilities, and being able to have some tangible, actionable steps that we're able to walk away with. So
thank you so much.
Heartfelt gratitude. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, sis, for, as Kamal said, this nourishment, these tools, inspiring tools to move us forward on our journeys. So now we're going to move into the special offer. So Val, if you can explain this piece, tell folks what they're going to get and how they might be able to manifest this, that would be very helpful.
Sure.
For somebody.
Yeah, so the first participant to email me indicating the career that they are choosing or what they are declaring for their life. So it could be a career, it could be a job, it could be any declaration. What are you creating for your life? The first person to email me at valjlyons@gmail.com, I will send you a copy of my book, Power Networking from the Inside Out, where your career and your well-being meet. Please also send your address so I can get the book to you. So that is my offer. You can contact me on Facebook at valerie.lyons.56. I'm on Instagram at ValJLyons. I'm on LinkedIn. You can just search for Valerie Lyons. And my website is www.ValerieJLyonsEnterprises with an S, ValerieJLyonsEnterprises.com. So check my website out to see the work that I do in the world.
Yes, and this information will also be dropped in the Facebook and the Zoom thread so that you can access them more with ease. And of course, you have the option to screenshot.
We appreciate any of love offerings and donations. If you feel that you're in a position to give, please do. And you can give via Zelle, QuickPay. Look for Soul Leadership Development at gmail.com. Or you can go, you can give us a donation via Cash App at Spirit of a Woman, the $ Spirit of a Woman, and use the code 631VL. So feel free, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that is done. So feel free, if your heart so desires, to donate and give a love offering.
All right, family, for your convenience, we have created a system where you can give monthly, and an automated love offering will come out for the WOO community so that you don't have to be caught up around this when you're engaging in receiving on the mornings that we do the Wake Up Everybody sessions. So if you have not already set up an automated payment and you're interested in doing so, We will drop this in the chat so that there are hyperlinks. So you can click any one that aligns with what you have, as far as available resources and flow. In the Wake Up Space, we refer to money as my own natural energy yield. So money is energy in this space. So we encourage you to share the energy with us of money, just like we share the energy with you of this powerful content. So we look forward to receiving so that we can keep giving. Val, you gonna share or no?
Yes. Of course, I'm like all up in the camera because so please join us on Monday, July 18th for disrupting the wealth gap, the evolution of cooperative practice. And this is facilitated by, is it
Angela doing?
Yeah, can you read the next one? Because I'm having trouble reading.
It's okay. All right. So yeah, Angela doing. So I love that she's going to be addressing the wealth gap. It's so important, and there are majority women in the Wake Up Everybody space, community, women of color, Black women. And so it's important to know that when they do the assessment of cumulative wealth or our value, it adds up to $5, like on average, and it's moving in the direction of $0 if we don't shift the dynamic. So please do set your alarm so that you can be in this powerful generative conversation about the wealth gap and the evolution of cooperative practice. And we're going to move through this by operating interdependently. So Angela Doyne is the facilitator. So set your alarms, be present, and gain wealthy information to build a wealthy life. Then the next day on Tuesday, July 19th, we have Sister Robin Stone, who will be presenting We Won't Go Back, Poetry, Power, and Justice. So I can only imagine how powerful that conversation will be. We won't go back. Sometimes going back to fetch information, which we call Sankofa, is super important, but going back meaning regressing, and going backwards is a different energy. So come in. Robin is always offering an interactive, powerful manifestation of words, of music, of all kinds of interactive pieces for us to grow and transform. So Woo Nation, for all new members, folks who are coming for the first time to the Woo space, we welcome you into this space and we invite you to join us in this community where we learn, elevate, and ascend. So please, what I say, don't hit it and quit it. Come back and continue to co-create with us. What you get is invaluable. We talked about value today. When I think about the 2.5 years that we've been in the Woo space, we have generated millions of dollars of content in this space over the last 2.5 years, and we are committed to generating more. So come on back and be with us and join this community. The schedule for you to come back to: 5 days a week, we offer content starting on Sunday. Today is the top of the week. And then we move through the week until Thursday. So Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we have a 90-minute session. Today, you experienced that from 7 to 8:30, sometimes a little over. And then on Monday and Wednesday, we have a short appetizer from 7 to 7:30, sometimes a little over. So set your alarms. It always starts at 7 o'clock, and you will always get some value from participating, waking up, and engaging. If you want reminders, alerts to go out to remind you to be in this space, you can type in on your cell phone 74121, just as a number, like a regular number you would type in, and then in the text box, put Woo Nation in all caps, and then you'll automatically be added to the automated texting in the morning to remind you to get into the space and receive. We invite you to purchase Woo Swag. It has been a minute since someone has purchased Woo Swag, and we encourage you, if you're new to the community, to get your swag, whether it's a journal to write in, a mask to wear because COVID is not over, a bag to carry, your essentials, a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, because for these travels on planes and hotels you'll be staying in, you'll need a sweatshirt as an overlay. And I'm just speaking life to what you would be able to do in your life if you choose it. Sleeves for laptops, tea cups or coffee cups. I'm a tea drinker myself, and a water bottle for us to nourish ourselves and hydrate ourselves. All of this wake up material is available to you. So grab it, grab it, grab it. And then we just want to thank you and invite you to stay tuned. Register for this week's sessions if you haven't done so already. You can see an e-blast with all of the announcements of who is going to be up and sharing their magic with us. There's also a Facebook private page and public page. Please do join. Instagram, Wake Up Everybody virtual community. And then YouTube, bit.ly/woo on YouTube. And then email info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And now that we've said all of this glorious stuff, we're going to ask you to do what we know how to do in this space, which is to give love. And how we give love and appreciation to the facilitator of the session and the admin is by pouring into them via a love shower. So we invite you to unmute yourself, come on camera if you wish, and then everybody simultaneously will pour into our beloved sister Valerie for all that she has done and shared in this space. So let's do this, family.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Valerie, for
Thank
this
you.
great
Thank
exercise.
you. Thank you,
Have a great
Valerie.
day.
This
Thank
was
you
so
Valerie.
so
awesome and
much.
Everyone have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Everyone
So
who
Thank you for your
powerful,
knowledge and your
powerful,
it
powerful.
was
Exactly what we
amazing.
needed this rising. I
Thank
thank you. I
y'all.
thank
Love you,
you.
Love
Valerie.
you.
I love
Love to you.
everyone.
Much
Wonderful
love.
All that
sister.
you
Let's move
do
Love
forward.
Sister
and we
Edna.
look forward
love
to the
Powerful.
y'all.
Thank
finer
you.
things that you have
Love you.
shared
Love
in
you.
this
Power.
space today.
So
So
much.
thank you,
Thank
thank
y'all. Love
you,
y'all.
thank
Thank
you.
Love you.
Love you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Love
And
everyone.
thank
Let's
you,
Love you,
continue to
sister.
Adam. This
co-create.
is great.
Have a wonderful day. Be
Let's
blessed.
continue to
Have a
create and
blessed
stay
day.
powerful.
Love y'all.
Of who
Mwah.
you
Love
are,
y'all.
giving,
Beautiful.
giving.
Amen.